Oakbridge After Dark is produced by 97 to Now Productions.
Hello, everyone. I am Mark, executive producer.
Hello, I'm James, director and producer of Oakbridge.
And with us for this very special episode number 2 of Oakbridge After Dark, we have the fantastic voice actor, David Sword.
Yeah!
Am I getting that right?
That is
David
me.
Sword.
Hello. It's Sword.
Sword. the W is silent, I guess. Sword.
I've 45 years. I've had to spell it for every. It's always mispronounced, always misspelled.
Sword, I would think.
That's what everyone
thinks. It's that English language terrible, whether you're in Canada or America. So, for those of you joining us, we recorded this back on May 5th, and you're not with us live, then that means you're hearing this after Oakbridge has. And so we've got David Sword, who you may know as the voice of David on the series. That worked out well.
Yeah.
Very well.
So before we go into the show and talking about your craft, tell the people who you are. Tell them a little bit kind of.
I was born in Montreal. I've lived in Southern Ontario most of my life. See, when I'm talking to Americans, my Canadian accent comes out a little bit more.
Yes, it does come out.
And I definitely exaggerate. But I work in insurance. This is actually my first voice role. Like, I've wanted to get into voice acting my whole life, and it's just been a matter of getting into it and getting it going. I mean, it's always been a dream to make a living with my voice.
Like all the stuff that all the stuff that you have, you just recently bought?
That's because I'm a musician on the side.
Oh,
so all the audio equipment I already had for recording my own stuff.
Okay,
as far as voice work, no, that was it was like
so all that stuff you had on your resume, you just made up. Good job.
Oh, there was nothing on my resume. It was pretty much just music. That was it.
Yeah, that's great because that's why I was like, I didn't realize you did music. That's awesome.
So David, tell us. So why did you decide to pursue Oakbridge then? I mean, if you've never done anything, and first of all, how did you find out about Oakbridge, and then what made you decide to go for
it? From what I remember, it was I'm on like all the casting pages on Facebook, and it popped up, and it just looked really intrigued. So I went through it, got super excited about the audition, and normally all the voice auditions go through Mandy, and I have yet to finish my Mandy profile. I think I've been at 40% for about 10 years and never completed it. But this one came up, and then I got super excited about it.
What the hell is Mandy?
Yeah, I was about to say, what's Mandy?
Mandy.com. It's specifically for voice work, where it's all auditions and stuff like that. So you go on there, but you have to have a demo reel, and I've been saying for the last 10, 15 years, I need to make a demo.
Yeah.
And just never get it finished.
See, this must be a Canadian thing, because I just went to the page, and the first thing that shows up is Mandy UK, Mandy Canada, and then Mandy. So that tells me that. So it makes more sense why I didn't know what it was.
Maybe it is more of a UK and Canada.
So tell us a little bit about your time on Oakbridge and in the town of Oakbridge, working with the people, specifically, obviously working with James as a director. And, since this was your first experience, it sounds like, how would you say it went, and what were the good, the bad?
Probably the only bad was actually trying to get it to work. The first couple auditions. We had the appointment to do the recording, and it was my MacBook wasn't up to snuff. I updated, and then the audio interface didn't. So it was the audio interface would work with my old MacBook, but it wouldn't work with the new one. But the new one wouldn't work with the old one. So it was just. I think by the third appointment.
Yeah, we finally figured it out where we decided that we just recorded through what was it? Not Garage.
I was doing it through Pro Tools. I was doing every take.
Recording
we're doing and you were listening in.
Yeah, and so I was listening in and giving instructions over Zencaster, and then he was recording into Pro Tools, and then he basically sent that over. He sent that to me, and
it was bouncing every file over, which it worked, but it was a little bit tedious. But then I think the third time we were finally able to get because then for some reason
Pro Tools wasn't working, but you could get on Zencastr, and so that's when we finished.
So weird.
That's when we finished everything on.
Yes, I remember early on. I wasn't at the recordings. I remember saying, "James, figure it out or recast him." Yeah. And it's not that I didn't want you; it's just we had to move on.
No, and that's what I was terrified about. Because after the first time, it was like, oh, this finally dropped into my lap, and now because of like issues that I can't control, it suddenly is going to be pulled away from me.
Because I remember, that's when I asked you. That's because I remember I asked you. It was like, hey, what are you using? You said Mac, and I was like, is your Mac up to date? Because I had that same issue where my Mac wasn't up to date, and so I couldn't get on Zencastr before. So
like Zencastr had a minimum of like OS like 11 or something like that. Yes. And it was like OS 2 and it would not work.
Yeah, he hadn't updated that thing in a while.
Yeah, man. It's old.
I have a MacBook Pro that is at this point 13 years old. And I don't know how it's still able to update to whatever the most recent version is, which blows my mind.
Yeah, he might have had the manual update because I know I had mine. I had mine on manual, I didn't check the box, and so now I have the box checked. So when a new update comes up, it shoots a little message to me to tell me to update.
So David, tell us, did you read the scripts? Do you know the entire story, or are you more looking forward to hearing the episodes and finding out what happens?
I'll be honest. I scanned. That's all I did.
Okay.
I scanned with a highlighter. I printed out the pages that I was in, highlighted my parts, and that was it. Like I didn't read any further because I do want to listen to it as a whole and not be surprised. There were a couple spoilers, so I'm not going in with fresh ears, but it's new enough that I can enjoy it when it comes out.
Well, you only heard your part. You didn't hear everybody else's part together with it. So
yeah, which is surreal because I know there's scenes that I have like angry scenes with several other people, and I've only heard one side of it, so I'm dying to hear the completed part, right?
Yeah,
and of course you had to work with James as your voice talent, so to speak, to work off of.
Yeah.
Oh no, James was great. No, it really fun. Honestly, it was once we got past the technical issues, it was a lot of fun. Once we discovered our mutual love of Muppets, it was we had a lot of fun because that's why one of the things I written when we were talking about it, I was like, "You're Canadians coming out," and so I was like, we could explain it because literally he was talking about where he is in Canada is only a few hours. It's like right across the water from Ohio. So I was like, we can work. I'm basically on one side of Lake Erie and Cleveland is on the other side.
Yeah.
So it's kind of close enough. But
is there a ferry that goes across or something?
No.
Oh,
there used to be one called the Breeze, but that went across Lake Ontario from Toronto to Rochester.
Oh, okay.
And
they figured out nobody wanted to go to Rochester, so it kind of died.
And it's not unbelievable. I mean, I guess it kind of is today, but in the 90s, it's not unbelievable that a Canadian would come to America.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Today,
and I think, like, regional dialects.
So yeah, absolutely.
It was only certain words where it came out.
Yeah, there was certain words like about out. And out, and there was a couple words that I was like, "You're Canadians showing right now."
Yeah,
but we had a lot of fun.
But it was more when I was mentioning. The only issue I had was mentioning my daughter's name, Samantha.
Yeah.
I yell the name Samantha without it sounding like Tony Danza. Every time it came out, I'm like, that's all I'm hearing. All I'm hearing is Samantha.
I was like, because I remember,
and I can't say that without following up, Angela.
Yeah, he said it. He said it the first time, like, because in episode 1, she comes home and they actually say, and like for the longest, it took us like I think it took like 3 or 4 takes to finally get it, like to a point where it's he didn't sound like Tony Danza.
I broke every time I said it. Samantha.
Yeah.
I hope you still have the raw audio for outtakes.
I believe we still do. It should still be in there. It has to be in there.
Yeah, and all the ones I did on Pro Tools are still there, so I kind of want to sample them later.
Those were we did, but those were later episodes. Like the ones where we actually did it on Zencaster were earlier episodes. The couple that we did on the Pro Tools was later episodes. So we had, and then because I was like, let's not worry about going back right now. We'll move forward, and then we'll figure out how to go back and get the other stuff later.
Oh yeah.
So like
because I think we started with like episode 5.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing. Well, that's the thing with this show. I mean, we would do multiple scenes. We'd do a couple episodes, multiple scenes, and then we'd come back and do number of episodes, multiple scenes. But yeah, this case, I wanted to move on, so we made sure we were staying on schedule. And then we went, like I said, we went back, got the other stuff once we kind of got some of the technical issues worked out. So it was great.
So David, what character in the show, other than your own, is your favorite, based on what you have read and know?
Based on what I have read, I think it's between me and Julia.
Okay.
My wife, because she seems how she handles David is brilliant. So he's like easily manipulated. He's a womanizer. He's had affairs. Spoilers.
Not
but
really.
The way she handles him, and it's so different between the way she handles him in public around the kids and how they are in public. And she's such a strong female character. So
and
obviously, I like my own.
Work with the person playing your wife, right?
No, I didn't. Which I thought it's so surreal because there were like arguments. So only hearing half of that was kind of surreal.
Yeah, like I would just basically I would give him the line. I would give him like the beginning and end of the line, and then he would just give you the line back. And it was just it was one of those things where on other stuff we've recorded together. We've had people record together, and I actually one of the sessions I was supposed to have, they were supposed to record together, but that was another technical issue day. So I had to do one and then I had to do the other. So I didn't record them together. But this case was really interesting because he did have a couple scenes that got intense, and he's out there doing it alone, So
yeah, I'm literally screaming at a blank wall. Yeah.
Yeah, no, because the first time, like I said, the first time we'd go through it, I'd give him the line so he'd actually kind of know what he's playing off of. And then as we move on, we'd just go back and we'd hit those lines, and it was just, okay, let's go to the line. And then we run it a couple times till we got something I liked, and then we'd move on to the next line. And so, to try and keep the process moving.
He let me, I appreciated him kind of like letting me kind of fly and making little adjustments. Like there were no like write out changes, just little lines, like an extra word here and there. Or you think, I think he would say love instead of like. And just, kind of letting me flow.
No, I remember, and actually one time, as he was going through a scene, he said, "Hey, can we try it this way? Because I'm reading it, and I just feel like it would be a little bit different. He wouldn't say it like this, and he might, he might say it like this." And I was like, "You know what? I'm down. Let's give it a shot." And so he gave me a whole different option. It's the same context, but it sounds just a little bit different. And when the way he explained it made a whole lot of sense. So I actually typed that in. I typed that into my script, and I also had the original. So we did one of the original. We did a couple of his new ones, and I kind of just left that to the editing gods.
So what, do we have to give David a writer credit now?
No, it's not really. It was literally just. It was.
I can literally go through the script and show you what I changed. I literally changed like to love.
Yeah, and then I think it was basically
little.
He was talking about his parents. He was talking about his parents fighting, and he changed. So the way that he he set it up. He kind of just moved some of this. He kind of just did a sentence rearrangement.
It was,
And
not to give anything away, but I think he says, I only saw my parents scream at each other. And I'm like, well, you would have heard them scream at each other. So it's like, I only heard it's like that's just tiny, tiny little changes. But yeah.
Yeah. But it was actually kind of impactful once I heard. Well, so I was like, oh yeah, no, actually, I really like that. So like, I think I can't remember. I have to go back and listen, but I think we kind of used a little bit of both. But yeah.
No, that's good. And I appreciated you giving me the freedom to like, okay, we're going to do this, but I still give you the original context.
Right.
But then give you the slightly edited one. So just whichever one you guys want.
And I did that. I did that a lot with, I did that with a lot of the actors too, just to make sure that it just felt, I wanted one thing to feel comfortable.
Yeah. You needed to feel lived in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you don't believe it, if you don't believe it,
exactly,
you don't expect anybody else to believe it.
It's like, I can't say this line exactly like this and make it sound believable. If we just change it a little bit, how a real person would say it, there you go.
Yeah.
So now that you had done your first voice acting gig, was it everything you had hoped for, or are you like, okay, I got that out of my system?
Oh God, no. It just made me want to do more. Like that's literally all I want to do now. So I got, I was talking to, I'm drawing a blank, the writer,
Ashley, the creator, Ashley
yeah.
Dean.
Yeah. So we were kind of emailing back and forth. I was just like, I hope you were happy with what I did. She was, and I'm just like, I'm so excited to hear that David is coming back for season 2. Because I was so worried that I'd get right to the end of season 1 and go, okay, well, we killed him off. So it's just like,
oh no,
but
listen, I will give you a little bit of information now. I talked to Ashley, and we were talking about making sure we see David more, like not more, but outside of, in his office, in his work life. So we get to see a little bit more of that.
Yeah.
So
no, and that's all I wanted to hear because I feel like the character did have an arc, but I did kind of want to explore the character more.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something on this that I haven't really told anybody is that David, like after reading him, I could not stand him. Like reading him, I could not stand him. But then,
not you, David Swoll.
But then but then working with you, it was like, ugh. Now I can't. I still. There's parts of him that I don't like, but I like the guy that played David. So it's So it's kind of like
that was the whole crux of his character was he's smarmy. He's like, he can't be trusted, but he's charming on the outside. And I've known people growing up that are like that, where everybody that doesn't know them likes them. They like them on the outside, but they're at the core, they're just like, ugh,
Yeah, that's James.
So that's how I played him. Like he's somewhat likable on the outside, like he's respected in the community. But
what you're telling me. Yeah. So, without obviously spoilers, how would you best describe Oakbridge, the town, and then the series?
The town itself reminds me of. So I'm a Gen Xer, so it reminds me of like Erie, Indiana, original Twin Peaks, obviously Stranger Things, but it does have the 90s aesthetic, but it does have that, like, it's normal on the outside. This is why I mentioned Erie, Indiana, because it looked like an idyllic place from the outside, but when you really get into it, it's like there's some weird shit going on. So that's kind of the vibe I get from that. The show, same kind of thing, like Erie, Indiana. It's giving me X-Files. It's giving me obviously Stranger Things, but more of a 90s thing.
Mm-hmm.
And for you, what did you enjoy most about the process? Was it the actual recording sessions? Is it after the fact, listening to yourself? Is it, soon hearing the finished product? Or what do you think for you is the most exciting?
Honestly, I didn't even listen to myself back, so I don't know what the take sounded like. Because I'm critical of my own voice, so I'm not going to. I tend to not listen to myself back. But yeah, I know from James's reaction, there was like there were a few times where you were just super excited with how it turned out. Like, oh God, I like that. So yeah, sorry, what was the question? I've had 2 drinks now.
Oh, his two stubbies are doing him in.
I fucking lost my train of thought there, bud.
His Molson Ice is doing him in.
Oh man.
God.
Oh boy.
No, so this was what you were referencing.
The stubby.
Stubby. It's what we here in the U.S. The bottles remind us of red stripe.
Or
red stripe, yeah.
The other ones that I've seen in those stubbies, if you will, are regular Miller.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I'm sorry, regular Coors. I've
right.
seen in those bottles.
I've never seen the short other than red stripe. I've never seen the short stees other than Molson Canadian and in Strange Brew.
So what I was asking was,
what was your favorite part of the whole deal? Like, was it the recording? Was it? Are you excited to hear everything? Or
I'm so excited to hear the finished product. Like, you have no idea. The whole process was amazing. Like the recording sessions were an absolute blast. And the fact that I get to play an asshole, I get to go against type and play somebody that I'm not. Somebody, of course, same name, but somebody
you're Canadian, of course,
is not me, right? Yeah. Somebody who's smarmy, somebody who like gives a shit about his kids, but he cares more about how the family looks. Like, the family looks happy rather than the family is happy. Mm-hmm. So to play somebody that's completely not me was such a blast. And I'm
now,
so looking forward to season 2.
Do you have kids or?
No, I do not.
Okay.
Got a lap dog I saw.
Yeah, she's not here. I had to send her next door. So. Because I knew as soon as we started recording, she would just start barking her head off. So.
For the audience, what's the one episode that you're most excited to hear that they should be excited to hear for your character?
I think episode 8 or 9.
Yeah.
I think it was 8. It was either 8 or 9 that was like I had like a huge scene. Like, there was a lot, and there was tension. There was like, I'm being smarmy, but I'm also being threatening, but I'm also being nice and sweet. So it was like I got to do my full range.
Yeah.
So yeah, either 8 or 9. Yeah.
And then 3 is we hear him. We will hear him in the first couple episodes, but it's like 3 is the first time we really hear him. And then
3 was when Lawyer Dave comes out.
Yeah, that's Lawyer Dave. David is a lawyer.
Oh yeah.
And then it's the later episodes when he's playing lawyer, father, husband. He's going through a lot.
Oh, I'm saying fucking thing.
I'm actually the one that I'm most excited for, I believe, is I think it's 5. It's that argument.
Yes.
The argument that between you and Julia. That's the one I'm really excited to hear. Because I've heard both sides of it. I haven't heard it together.
Yeah.
So,
but it's almost like you see a different side of David in every episode. Like you get a little taste of Lawyer Dave, you get a little taste of Daddy Dave, and then you get like.
I mean, this is the thing. It's that angry. It's so weird. Like, David is the one character in this show that I think goes through some of the most ups and downs, where he is in some cases he's totally in control. Others he's totally out of control. Some he's the absolute. He is the alpha. Others he is the absolute. He is the beta. He has so many different. David has so many different dynamics that he ends up going through in just these 10 episodes. It's crazy.
I want to hear the reaction from people going, God, I hate him. Like, he's so awful. And also the whole thing where you go through and go, do I trust him? Do I like him? I don't know. He's kind of like nice in this. Maybe he is a good dad. Oh, wait, he is an asshole. Like, it's kind of the back and forth. Like,
the thing is that I think David's a great dad. Yeah. I think he's a great dad. It's just there's those opposing sides that sometimes we have to deal with in our lives.
Like, he genuinely cares about his kids. Like, that comes forward, but everything else on top of it.
Yeah.
So I know this is going to be hard, but again, without any spoilers or anything like that, do you have any theories or predictions of what might happen in Oakbridge season 2?
Honestly, because I haven't read the full script, so I don't know the full arc. But
how about for your character specifically then? What would you like to see, or what do you think we might see?
Yeah, what would you like to see?
Ashley, I'd like to see redemption. Like, I don't want him to go down like, I don't want him to be like a Nellie Olson and just have like everybody hating me completely, but just maybe some redemption. Maybe just
and who exactly is Nellie Olson?
Nellie Olson, the greatest television villain of all time, from Little House on the Prairie.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, I don't really remember that.
My wife is probably
1974 to 1983. No, okay.
I mean, I've seen some reruns of. I've seen some reruns of Little House. That's about it.
Was this an actual character in the books?
Yeah, that was. She was the villain. She was the villain. She was the spoiled daughter of the mercantile owners. So she was the villain for Melissa Gilbert. I know way too much about Little House on the Prairie, but I mean, she even did like Alison Arngren, the actress who played Nellie Olson. This is like 1974, so she hasn't played this character in like 45 years. People would like spit at her. They legit hated the character.
That's like it's funny because I remember watching an interview with Billy D. Williams, and he said that he went to go pick up his kids. And this was after Empire came out, and like the kids were the kids hated him. They were like, "Why would you do that to Han Solo?" But like it's just like you play that character, and then all of a sudden you're known for that.
So what are you working on now?
She even did
until season 2 comes out. Sorry.
What am I working on now? I'm creatively just I work in insurance, but on the side I've been doing improv. I've been looking at I keep writing like comedy sketches in my head. Like, I'm dying to start like a sketch troupe. Like, sketches keep coming to me, and like half of them in dreams, half of them just like random thoughts.
A good sketch troupe like SNL, right?
No, a good sketch troupe like Kids in the Hall. Or SCTV. Like, are we going to go into SCTV versus SNL?
No. We don't need to go down that path, because we all know that one's been on for 50 years and one not so much. No, Kids in the Hall.
But look at the talent that SCTV put out.
All 6 of them. Yes, absolutely. I agree. Do you really want to do a numbers comparison? Because I'm fairly certain SNL probably is close to the 3 digits. With
probably, but ones that stand out.
I mean, like,
neither of us are going to win the argument. It's all right. We got our own thing.
You had Rick Moranis.
Hey, and Rick Moranis was.
Hey, we had John Candy, Rick Moranis. Eugene Levy. We had Catherine O'Hara, Andrea Martin, Dave Thomas, Martin Short. Like,
Martin Short.
Like more huge Canadians have come out of Canada than out of the States.
I don't know about that.
Huge Canadians.
We got okay.
Well, yeah,
Mike
of course
Myers,
they came out of. Of course they came out of Canada because they weren't here. Canada.
Yes, hopefully the Canadians came out of Canada. That's a good call.
But but then you follow up and go, well, they didn't get popularity until they reached the States. So you could argue that they got fame when they got to the U.S., but they honed their skills in Canada.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah,
that I can rock with that one.
I'll give you
that's
guys,
a compromise.
Bare Naked Ladies and Mike Myers. How about that?
Yeah, Bare Naked Ladies.
Those are pretty good.
But we also have The Weeknd. We have Drake. We have Justin Bieber.
Oh, Drake.
Arcade Fire.
You're going to bring up Drake right
Stallone.
now. Again, for those of you watching or listening to this after the fact, this was recorded on May 15th during the great rap battle of Drake and what's his name?
I'm not even following that. I just heard there was something about.
I'm not really either. I just keep seeing all these silly posts.
And Kendrick Lamar. Drake and Kendrick Lamar are going in.
Yes, and James.
I still don't know who Kendrick Lamar is.
You look like a shady producer, and that's because he is, folks. He is a shady producer. He will go full casting couch on you. I'm sure he did that with you, David.
Wow, what? We aren't even in the same place.
Remotely, yeah.
Whatever. We got cameras.
Yeah, you should probably take those pants off. Okay.
Well, this is
are they off? Sure.
Oh, man. I can't. We don't have video here, so I'm just going off audio.
Take your word for it. Anything for you, David, that you'd like to take the opportunity to promote or push or peddle, or would you like to try and sell insurance to our audience?
No, not really. No. Well, I mean, it wouldn't even work because, I mean, if your
true.
Audience is primarily Americans, it wouldn't work anyway. Sell it.
Well, the thing I'm surprised about is that you're able to sell insurance in Canada. I thought that just came, with the socialist nature that is Canada. But
wow.
No, that's our medicine, not our insurance.
Oh, because that's not insurance. Okay, yeah, because it's not, because you just get it for free.
No, it's not. It's not health insurance. No, it's
yeah.
A lot of people don't. A lot of people criticize our healthcare, but yeah.
No, you guys have great healthcare as long as you can wait. So,
yeah,
I mean, I have to wait, and it's not. And I have to pay for it.
I mean, I only have to wait 3 weeks for hernia surgery, and it was free. It would have been $80,000 if I had to pay it out of pocket. So,
sheesh.
Now, to be clear, when you say it's free, what you really mean is it's coming out of your income tax.
So taxes.
There's only like a 4% difference, I think, in income tax between the U.S. and Canada, but don't quote me on that.
If
it's like if we're going to talk socialized medicine, like I'm all for it. Like I would rather pay a little more in taxes so a kid in Nova Scotia can have cancer treatment. Like it's
dang, he went there.
I literally had an $80,000 surgery that I didn't pay for. So if I've overpaid by a couple of grand every year for the last 20 years, I'm still in the green.
What about the person that walks into the emergency room that says, "My elbow feels funny. My elbow feels strange." And that person who's getting
that accent?
Yes.
When did somebody from the South get to Canada?
Where are you from?
We don't take kindly to your folk around.
We don't fix elbows up here.
Well, we don't take kindly to those that don't take kindly.
That's a mighty strange accent you got there, boy.
Boy.
What accent?
Oh
boy.
Well, I think this is
I didn't realize I was going to go into socialized medicine, but yeah.
Welcome to Oakbridge After Dark.
All sorts of ways. Up ways, down ways, sideways.
Yes.
Wonka Vader.
Well, I think it's time that we wrap up Oakbridge After Dark. This has been a fantastic episode. Our fantastic guest for this episode number 2, David Sword, not Sword, to be clear. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. Greatly appreciate it. And we'll definitely have to have you back again at some point to talk about more socialized medicine, or maybe season 2 as we get there. But
just have me come back to talk about Rush.
Rush,
a good Canadian man. His name's Tom Sawyer.
Fantastic Canadian. Oh yeah.
Well, thank you, folks, for joining us. Bridge After Dark. We greatly appreciate you joining us. And don't change that channel.